Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is lukemick here, as always, and this video should have been filmed and uploaded a long time ago, but it wasn't. The Camp Arrow video Part 2 sale has been live since the beginning of July. It's now July 20th, I think is the date of filming this, and the sale ends on July 26th, and there are two things that I have not done. I haven't done my Arrow video recommendations video, which is what you're watching now, that I wanted to do for this sale, and I also haven't shopped the sale myself, so I'm very much lagging behind on this, and I feel terrible because I love Arrow video. I have probably said this before on the channel, but I usually consider Arrow video to be my favorite of the boutique Blu-ray labels. I love the catalog of films that they have to offer. I love all of the sort of campy horror stuff. I love the Italian mysteries and giallos, all of the Japanese cinema, whether it's the horror stuff or the more art house stuff or the Miike stuff, because he's one of my favorite filmmakers. There are just so many different types of films that Arrow Video restores and brings to the market that I just love so much. And the supplements they provide for their releases, the box sets that they make are just gorgeous, and yeah, they're just a great label. I love them so much, but I've never done a recommendation video on my channel, and that's just blasphemy because there are so many films in the Arrow Video and Arrow Academy lines that I think about all the time, I want to talk about all the time on the channel, but the moment is never right, and I always get swamped with other stuff, kind of like right now, because this video should have been out so long ago, and I'm already repeating myself. This is also going to be completely unadulterated, full tilt boogie, just bona fide lukemick here. I am not going to edit this at all, so you're just getting straight up uncensored lukemick. So you have that to look forward to in this video, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say off the bat. I've basically had this smallish stack of Arrow films sitting on my desk here for 2 weeks, and it's taken me this long to get to making this video, and the Criterion stuff really just put me back, and the month of July just flew by. So yeah, I really wish I would have had this out sooner, but for those of you who either have not participated in the Camp Arrow video sale yet, or are looking for future recommendations, or maybe are sort of anticipating placing another order or two before the sale ends, then this video is for you, and I just want to point out some films and box sets that I have just absolutely enjoyed to death and adored from Arrow Video, and let's just get into it. With the first box set here, Akio Jissôji's The Buddhist Trilogy. This is a limited edition box set by the now defunct Arrow Academy, and this is one of the most underrated sets I think Arrow has ever put out. I don't hear anybody talk about these films, and I think that's just, again, that's blasphemy. How can these not be as recognized as so many other films in the same vein? These are a trilogy of films from the 1970s, early 1970s, 70, 71, and 72 by director Akio Jissôji, and they were sort of coming out at the end of the era of Japanese New Wave. And these films, I could liken them to the works of Nagisa Oshima, or Hiroshi Teshigahara, Seijun Suzuki. If you like those films in that vein and in that style, you might really enjoy these films. Each one of them, to me, just has such memorable central characters who have so much passion, and they're so driven by their vocations and just just their beliefs and perspectives on the world. And that's just one of the most interesting and recognizable things about these films for me, is the central characters and just how much emotion is being just thrown at you from these characters by their performances and the directing. And I don't want to go too much into these films because I want to leave it as kind of a surprise for those of you who decide to pick this up, but they cover a lot of very taboo subject matter, and they're definitely films that have some difficult moments in them, especially the second film, Mandala. That was probably the most hard film to watch. It involves a sort of sex cult, and there are a couple of rape scenes in them as well, so viewer discretion is advised for that film. But they're films that just, they scream Criterion to me. Like, I feel like they are films that could very easily be in the Criterion collection, but they have just ignored this filmmaker throughout all the years, and Arrow is the only one giving Jissoji some credit. And I just have to say that each and every one of these films are there's so much incredible energy through in each of these films, in the directing and the camera movements and just the filmmaking style. Each film feels so full of life, and it just shocks me that people don't more often talk about the striking imagery and just scenes and memorable moments within these films. There are some incredibly haunting images in these films that are just stuck in my brain, and I just can't believe how underrated and under talked about these films are, because I thought they were just incredible pieces of cinema, each and every one of them. So hey, it's me, lukemick here, of course. I was just watching the video to make sure everything was good and reviewing it, and I realized that I totally forgot to mention something really important that I wanted to say about the films in this set. And it's just that these films all feel so uniquely Jissoji in their presentation and the style of the directing. And these films, I just don't think I could ever mistake them for being anybody else's. In each one of these films, he really he puts his signature on these films, and I just think that they're so unique to him, and I really think he made a group of films here that are just, unmistakably his. I don't think I could ever mix them up for being anyone else's. So yeah, I feel like it's a really important point that I forgot to make. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the video, everybody. Yeah, that's Akio Jissôji's The Buddhist Trilogy. I would very highly recommend these films. It does look now that on Amazon and Diabolic DVD in the US at least, these are out of stock in the limited editions, but you didn't hear this from me. But Barnes & Noble looks like they still have these in stock at the price of $49.99, so the sale price. So jump on that if it sounds interesting to you. And there is also a standard edition Region B version of this set out currently in the UK and elsewhere in the European territories. And I'm assuming the US will get a standard edition soon, but it's not out yet. But yes, please check this underrated box set out. I think they're really incredible films, and I just am just so appalled that nobody speaks about them as often as I wish they would. So yes, I've wanted to talk about that for so long. I'm so happy I'm doing this recommendations video, because all of these films, I always want to talk about them on the channel, but I never find the right moment. And I know this video is late, like I already said, and I'm just continuing to repeat myself. But I just want to express how happy I am to finally get a chance to talk about these. This next film, I don't think is going to be for everybody, but the night I watched this film, when it was on Amazon Prime, and it still might be in the U.S. territory, it just blew my mind. This is an exploitation film from the 70s. It's a European. It was considered a video nasty, so it is part of that whole video nasty fiasco. It just blew me away. But that is Island of Death. And this is the alternate cover, and it's like the original poster for the movie, and it looks absolutely insane. And the film itself, the experience of this film for me was just so shocking. I watched it with my friend Peter on Amazon Prime, like I said, and I think that a couple of other friends came in and out during to catch pieces of it, but it was just the most vile, shocking, uncomfortable thing I had ever watched. I had expected it to be more of a vacation slasher movie. It takes place on an island outside of Europe, or not Europe, Jesus, Italy, or something like that. It takes place in some vacation villa, and I thought it was going to be a slasher, but it's not really. It's completely different, and I don't want to spoil it. And the music choices and the music made for the film is engraved in my brain as well. It's unforgettable. Get the Sword is one of the most incredible pieces of music written for film. Get the sword! Get the sword! Get the sword! I'm kind of joking about that, but I'm also not, because I think about that music all the time. And yeah, there's not really much else I want to say about this without ruining it or spoiling it for others. It's not for everybody. It is an exploitation film with some pretty vile elements and some sexual abuse and murder and all that gross stuff. But the movie was just shook me to my core because it was not what I was expecting it to be. It has some insane moments, so many memorable, horrible moments that just come off so goofy too. It's not a very graphic film. It's not very realistic in their portrayals of death and murder and everything else I mentioned, but it's absolutely ridiculous. Island of Death, I personally love it to death, but I know that not everybody loves that film. But it did it for me the night I watched it. So that is Island of Death. I had to get a sip of my coffee here. Okay, this one is Region B only. Scream Factory had the rights to this in the US, but it's now out of print. So currently, if you want to get this title, you'll have to order the Region B edition. But it's a great film. It's a really stupid film, and I love it to death. It is Howling 2. Your Sister's a Werewolf. And what is the other title for this? Oh, please tell me. Please. It doesn't say it. Maybe, hold on. I gotta take a second to read. There's another title for this film. Hold on, sorry. Damn, I don't think they actually put it on here. That kind of sucks. But it's called Howling 2, Your Sister's a Werewolf, and like Shiva She-Bitch or something, Werewolf Bitch. It has so many weird names, and this is a sequel to Joe Dante's 80s film, The Howling, which I don't think is as... I mean, this is a pretty bad film. It's so bad it's good. The original Howling film, I loved the last 5 minutes and the first 20 minutes of that film, and the Dick Miller cameo, but that was about it. Honestly, the original Howling film was kind of a drag to me, but this stars Christopher Lee, and it also stars, what's that guy's name? I just watched him in another movie. Fudge. What the hell? They aren't putting enough goddamn information on here. Ugh, man, this is a shame. Hold on, Christopher Lee. Reb Brown. Okay, Reb Brown plays the side of Christopher Lee. He plays the sort of lead man character who is protecting the female character. It's that sort of structured film, and his acting is horrible. He has no charisma, and the chemistry between him and the girl he's having a romantic fling with is completely non-existent. It's incredibly awkward, and it's just hilarious. And I looked at his filmography, and I was like, what the hell has this Reb Brown guy been in? And I literally thought to myself, he would make the blandest, worst superhero if he were ever cast in a superhero film. And it turns out that he played Captain America in, I think it's the 1990s Captain America film that is supposed to be pretty bad. I think that was him, unless it was a different Captain America project. But I was just shocked to learn that he had played Captain America. Anyway, I'm really rambling on about The Howling 2. This is just a movie that has so many awkward performances and interactions. It has some... it's really just the interactions, and Christopher Lee's presence just make this film so damn enjoyable. The villain is incredibly over the top, and there's so much like 80s hair rock in this film, and it just the night I watched it, it was so funny. It's a hilarious film. Just the comedic timing in this horror movie is just, you know, it's amazing. It's
What the fuck's going on?
unlike anything else. So Howling 2, Region B only, but very highly recommended by me. We have another box set here. So in my hands now is the Female Prisoner Scorpion Complete Collection. This particular box set is the limited edition that's been sold out for a number of years now. But they do have a very nice standard edition that has artwork that's almost as cool, if not cooler than this artwork in my opinion. And it just doesn't come with the booklet, but everything else should be the exact same. And it's on sale for this Camp Arrow video sale. And yes, the female prisoner Scorpion film starring Meiko Kaji. These films are incredibly iconic. They are notorious for being sort of like a blueprint and a major inspiration for Tarantino's Kill Bill films. They are sexploitation films, at least the first film most certainly is designed to be that way, but the direction of Shunya Ito, it makes the film so much more than it originally would have been, and it spawned this series and franchise into these 4 films that they turned the success of this sexploitation film, this women prison film that was released in the early 70s, and made an entire 4-part series following the adventures of our main character, Scorpion, played by Meiko Kaji. And these are just some of the coolest revenge films. The soundtracks are so memorable. There are so many memorable moments that are just stuck in my head from the first 2 films in particular. I think the first 2 films are both equally good, and they just left so much of an impression on me after watching them. The third one is a good film too. I like the third one quite a bit, but it doesn't to me live up to the first 2. And then the last film in this set, which is actually not directed by Shunya Ito, it's the only one not directed by him, is the most just forgettable of them all. It's not offensively bad, but there's nothing about it that really stood out to me, and I honestly can hardly remember much about that 4th film. But the first 3 films in this set I think are pretty outstanding, and if you are looking for great 70s exploitation, super cool, just really unique and fun camera work and Dutch angles, and just a really exciting revenge-fueled time, then you will definitely enjoy the female prisoner Scorpion films. They are definitely favorites of mine, and they are just totally badass. I'm sure everyone has talked about these films well, not everyone, but everyone who has talked about these films has said what I've just said, so just take our word for it and check this out if it sounds good to you. But yes, very much love these films. They are incredibly well made for what they are intended to be, especially that first film that was just sort of made as an exploitation film. The direction and the lead performance from Meiko Kaji just gave it such an electrifying feel that I think helped compel them to continue the series and bring it into more serious, less sexploitative directions later on. But yes, female prisoner Scorpion, so cool.
I should stop mumbling about female prisoner Scorpion and get into the last
film I want to recommend here as I ding it on my table here. It is Kinji Fukasaku's Street Mobster, and this film stars, of course, Bunta Sugawara, who stars in the entire Battles Without Honor and Humanity series, and this is the sort of precursor to that entire series. This was really, I think, one of the first films they ever did together. And first of all, I love the sort of comic book style artwork that Arrow commissioned for this release. And this film, a lot like the female prisoner Scorpion films, was just so cool. And the raw energy behind the filmmaking in this film, the crazy angles, the hectic, cramped locations filled with people yelling and hitting each other, and just the intensity from scene to scene in this film, and the humor as well, just struck a chord with me big time. And it's a really great place to start watching the filmography of Kinji Fukasaku. He directed Battle Royale, most famously. So if you've seen that film and you are interested in his very iconic 60s, 70s, and 80s output, then I think this is a wonderful place to start. It's where I started, and I haven't looked back since. This is just an incredibly amazing Yakuza gangster film, and the structure of the story and just the beats of the story felt fresh to me. It felt, especially the end. The end of this film is incredibly memorable, and it just left such an impression on me, as did all these films. And yeah, I can't wait to keep watching the work of Fukasaku because everything I've seen has really been above average for me. And yes, that is Street Mobster. Highly recommend this one. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to recommend. There are, of course, always going to be so many other titles I could talk about from Arrow Video because I love so much of their output. But for this video, for the sake of time, I'm only going to talk about these today. Here is the stack of them. Again, the Jissôji trilogy, the Buddhist trilogy, I should say, is seeming to go out of print in the limited edition, but you can find it at Barnes & Noble right now if you check. Hopefully it's still up by the time this is uploaded. And then there is a standard edition in the UK. Island of Death is easy to get. Howling 2 is Region B only. Female Prison Scorpion complete series is in a standard edition box set that's really nice. And Street Mobster you can get anywhere, anytime. So yes, that is everything that I have for this video. I want to thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you again if you participated in the poll that let me know that you wanted to see this video, because I knew I wanted to get it out, but I was like, do people even care if it's this late into the sale? But I'm glad that that you all spoke up and told me to get off my ass and do this video. I'm glad that I did. And the Severin mid-year thing, the mid-year sale haul, it's not just a thing. That video actually is filmed, and I just have to edit it. So that video is coming, actually. So yeah, if you voted for that one, we're more interested in that. Watch out for that. And yes, that's pretty much all I have for this video. So thank you all once again for stopping by. I hope to see you again very soon, and I will talk to you later.